Okay, welcome to class number 2, and just wanted to welcome everybody to the class, and I'm going to actually bring everybody, unmute all, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me questions. I'm going to again give you guys all my cell phone number. My cell phone number is 408-888. 4848, and you can text me during the call if I have you on mute. And to Gary, this is Christine, this is Diana, this is Doug, this is Ashley, Lori, whatever it is, and I got a question for you. Then I can either unmute all of you, or you could just ask me the question. We're really getting excited because the class is growing in size, and what our goal is by the end of March to get a list from you guys of who would be interested in sharing your contact information and really making this a community where you can reach out to other people and say, hey, let's be power partners. Even though we're in a similar industry or different industry or different state, like I want other people in this class that are like-minded, want to better themselves, and this is about being proactive. So again, we do once a month recording. We do the recording. We do a review conference call. I want to remind you guys there is a bonus if you refer 5 people to the program, and you let us know the 5 that have joined because of you. We will then let you be in the class for free, or you will have a free class that you can give to somebody. That if you have kind of that servant-minded attitude of, you know what, I want to give this to somebody that maybe can't afford it. I'm so excited about today and what we're going to cover. And kind of the rule of thumb when we do these trainings is we always start the training with what we call kind of the theme for the week and the theme for the month. And we are going to start with a theme of something I actually did on my Facebook Live. I turned it up on Tuesday. Once again, if you guys have not friended me on Facebook, you should. Gary Michaels, M-I-C-H-E-L-S, Southwestern Consulting. And because I do a lot of content on Facebook. I do it every Tuesday. I do a Turn It Up a Notch Tuesday with some ideas for the week. You can save those videos, listen to those from time to time. I try to stay up to date with common up-to-date stuff. I do a post every day that my assistant and I work on. It's kind of motivational. So do Facebook friend me if you want some extra value to this. And you can always email me if you have questions at gmichaels, M-I-C-H-E-L-S, southwesternconsulting.com, and reach out to me once again. My cell is 408-888-4848. So here we go. We're going to talk today about the theme for this training is things that attract people to you. And you don't have this handout, so this is something you're going to take some notes. Things that attract people to you. And the first is a positive mental attitude and an aura and an energy around you. And many of you know I'm constantly talking about positive self-talk and affirmations. Many of you have seen me speak in the past. And if you haven't seen me speak and you need some help about affirmations, reach out to me. But if you're reading your affirmations 4 to 6 times a day and you're doing your 10 visualizations in the morning, which are 10 things you're grateful for and 10 things you want and will have, you're more likely to have a positive mental attitude. But people around you should see you as someone that's positive. You should raise the energy in a room rather than lower the energy. You should have self-reflection before you're around other people and look yourself in the mirror and say, am I like energy right now and enthusiasm? Because that sells, it's a good aura, it's really powerful. People want to be around that. So you do that, attract people. Next is speak confidently. And you're going to speak more confidently in your life the more you're trained. There's 2 emotions, fear and confidence. And the only difference between the 2 is how well prepared you are. So if you're consistently prepared, then you're going to be more confident. And you guys all know I talked about the sexy buffalo, okay? And then confidence is attractive and confidence is sexy, and that comes from preparation. The next one is that's going to help people be attracted to you is pay attention to other people. Like, give them your connection. Connection's a big word right now. A connection meaning 2/3 listen, 1/3 talk. Ask them to repeat, eye contact, head nods, take notes. But when you really pay attention to somebody, that might be the most attention they're getting from anybody, and that's quite attractive, let me tell you. Next is maintain your composure when things aren't so good, because every one of us is human beings, guys. And I want to say this again, that I by no means, based on what I do, I'm perfect. I live a normal life like you guys do. I have relationships, I've got a child, I've got business failures and good things and bad things. And I bounce back, I call it BBF, quicker than most, because I get to teach this every day and be around it. But I talk to you from someone that's lived through some tough times. And there are days that I don't have as good days as other days, but I BBF and I bounce back quicker than most, I think. And I have good composure because of my affirmation, because of my 10-10 visualization. And that's attractive that people want to be around you. And for the most part, you maintain your composure. Next, and how to attract people to you is be patient when you need to. There's something about energy and enthusiasm, but patience is a virtue. So don't always be so eager. Be patient. Next, be open-minded. So it's not like people are going to go, oh my God, I want to meet a closed-minded person. That isn't going to happen. People want to be around people that are open-minded. People want to be around people that are absolutely open-minded. It's a big, big deal. And are you the type of person that is open-minded? And, what do you stand with that? Do you smile and laugh a lot? Do you use humor? Are you funny? Do you like to be around funny people? Be funny, make money. You can literally, no joke, take a humor class. You go to your local comedy club, take a class on humor. You can watch, there's a lot of humor every night just in things by watching late night TV with the different late night TV hosts. There's YouTube videos, but add humor into your life. And if you're having fun, it's going to be attractive to other people. Don't let all of your thoughts be expressed is another thing that's quite attractive. So sometimes if you share everything, that's not too attractive. You keep your mouth shut when you need to and share when you have to. You don't procrastinate. That's another thing that's a very, very big turnoff for people that are constant procrastinators. I think every one of you, I want to thank you for taking action now and for taking a chance on yourself and investing $99 a month into yourself, because for every one of you on here, there's probably 10 people that are fearful and scared and won't take a risk. There's actually a quote I read this morning about that failure to take a risk is deeper than taking a risk and failing. Write that down. Failure to take a risk is a worse thing than taking a risk and failing. And all of you guys have taken a small risk on this class. I don't think it's a risk. I think it's going to absolutely help you if you actually put the things that we learn into action. Next, and there's two more here about how to attract people to you, is to be servant-minded. Be servant-minded and absolutely pour into people. I try to pour into, hundreds of people. But there's 3 people every day I'm kind of looking out. Who can I pour into today? Who can I reach out to? Who can I text? Who can I call? Who can I help as I'm walking down the street? Who can I go up and say hello to? 3 people a day at least. Be a servant and don't expect anything in return. That's the key thing, is do things and don't expect everything in return. And then number 11, the last one, is there's a lesson in failure. And when you do make a mistake and you fail, instead of saying, oh my God, this sucks, oh my God, oh geez, instead say, you know what, there's something I can learn here, even in the most biggest failures. So we're starting today with just that, about how do we attract people to us. And refer to that often. That's a really good sheet, because if people are attracted to you, heck, business is going to come your way too. So I sent over to you what we call the top half of 1% in the world of what it takes to be successful. And you can now see on your screen, and I do see your face, Ashley. If you could put a thumbs up that you can see my screen, that would be awesome. Okay, cool. And this is kind of something that over the years I've had the blessing of being with tons and tons of top producers in companies. My first book, Getting In and Getting Out, a lot of people like to read that book, and I never offered it in some of the venues that you guys were at. And if you're interested in my book, you can go to southwesternconsulting.com and go to our products page. It's southwesternconsulting.com and go to our products page. And it's called Getting In and Getting Out. Getting In and Getting Out. There's a lot of products on there from my business partners that you might be interested in too. But the book, the premise of the book is, I've been blessed to be a #1 producer in everything I've ever done in sales, but I'm just one guy. So I wrote this book where I interviewed 21 #1 producers in companies. And I actually was on the plane, trains, automobiles, literally for 2 months, was all around the country with different top producers, had meals with them, actually chatted them in their cars, went and sat in their office, made phone calls with them. And I wanted to see what do top producers do that average producers don't do. And I summarized it in my book, and then a lot of those mentalities are on this paper right here summarized. So I wanted to kind of share these with you. And so #1 is they have a sense of purpose. They know to write little notes on the side, guys. They know their why. They know their why. What is it that they really, really, really want? They have a major passion for what they do and what they stand for, and it's so obvious that they're passionate, because passionate is another attractive thing. I actually wrote a quote on there. Passion is the human, as steam is the locomotive, the power that makes you run. There are 3 steps to increase your level of passion. There's fill up the gas tank, to learn as much as you can. So I always told you 30 minutes a day, educate yourself. 15 minutes a day of motivation, and 15 minutes a day dig deep into technical selling skills. Next is use high quality fuel. Do things top notch and first class. So if you don't do things half-assed, really dig in and do it right the first time, and go back if you don't get it right and do it again. You know, I was blessed last week to start training from training with the San Francisco 49ers football team, their sales team. And in the training, the director of sales shared with me that Jerry Rice had been in the week before doing some voiceovers for some, and the director thought he did fine the first one, the first take. But quite honestly, he took like 10 takes because he wanted to have it right. Jerry Rice, arguably one of the best wide receivers ever to play football, ever, Hall of Fame, everything, was the first to practice and the last one to leave. So, you know, where do you put yourself as doing things first class? Do you kind of put your baby toe in the water, or do you really say, I'm going to do the very best I can? And so as you keep going here, use the fuel to share the world your passion and do it more often. So like I always tell people to put their self-esteem into the work habit, not the result. That's a good note to write down. Put your self-esteem into your work habits, not your results, and the habits will come. People ask me, well, Gary, what's this entrepreneurial spirit for the taxi cab driver thing? Well, an entrepreneur thinks outside the 9 dots. An entrepreneur thinks, what could I do to be different? An entrepreneur thinks USP, unique selling proposition. And there was a famous cab driver, I believe he's still driving. This was 2 or 3 years ago this was out. That was the most requested New York City cab driver. Like, you just go down the road. Well, sometimes people call in and request a certain cab driver. Well, you couldn't get in this guy's cab. You had to be lucky. Because when you got in his cab, he was always busy, every single day. It was like creme de la creme. There were food snack items for free. There was music. You could pick what music you wanted. He'd put it in for you. There was blankets. There was Kleenex. There was water. There was drinks. There was magazines. Like, you were treated like royalty. And this guy not only was booked all the time, got the most tips, and made an incredible living. And we sit here and we look at it and we go, what do I do in my business to kind of have that entrepreneurial spirit? These top producers have high energy, high enthusiasm, that when they go into a room, they raise the energy level of the room. They don't lower it. So tonight, tomorrow, when you go into whatever room you're going into, people that you work with or people that you're selling to, ask yourself, am I raising the energy level of the room or am I lowering it? And you know what? Sometimes it doesn't mean you're even talking. They can feel it in your energy. They can feel it in your eyes, your facial expression, your body language. Amazing. But do you have that energy and enthusiasm? Top producers have great habits about being healthy. Everything about working out, drinking enough water so that your face and your skin looks good, eating healthy, getting checkups, taking care of yourself when you need to. Spencer Hayes, any of you that are from the Southwestern Corporation, sadly, we got a notice today that he passed. And he was our majority owner of our company. Amazing man in his late 80s, still out there working every day. His business card. I'm getting a little huffy because Spencer was, for many of us, like just our icon. But today he had an aneurysm yesterday and passed. And but Spencer, legacy-minded, self-disciplined, take care of yourself, servant-minded, take care of others. He lived so many of these things. You can look him up. I mean, there's a lot written on him. It's Spencer, Hays. He was the leader or owner or majority of our family of companies. So here's a little tribute to you, Spencer, today. I appreciate you. So they have a legacy-minded attitude. They think much longer than just today. I want you to write on your paper the word significant. And significant means the greatest amount of good to the most amount of people for the longest period of time. Write that down. The greatest amount of good to the most amount of people for the longest period of time. Again, if you have a question when we're talking, all I need you to do, okay, is text me 408-888-4848, and I'll answer your question. I'll take you guys all off mute. I will at the end of this section invite comments, but I'm going to continue here. These top people played the contribution game, and there's a couple of things about the contribution game. One is to actually contribute to the lives of people every day, and always think contribution. And you could actually do parties. I've done this before. You could get your clients together, do it at a bar and grill at your house, and everybody's purpose there is to actually play the contribution game and go around and how can I help you? Do you need a job? Does your child need some work? Do you need to meet somebody special in your life? What can I do to support you and help you? And you get a bunch of people trying to help others. Oh my God, so much can be filled. I remember Matthew Ferry, who's one of my mentors. His father, Mike Ferry, runs one of the largest real estate coaching companies in the world. And Matthew was my coach for a long period of time. Actually, early on when our company started, Matthew did some of the speaking at our events and some of the coaching. And Matthew kind of came up with the contribution game idea. He said, someday I'd like to see all of the leaders in our world playing the contribution game. And can you imagine there'd be no war? If all of the leaders in this world play the contribution game, how can we support each other? How can we help each other? It would erase conflict. That was kind of a goal of his. I think it's pretty cool to just share it with you guys. These top producers are great negotiators and mediators. They set and meet high goals more than anybody ever has before. They're not afraid of failure. When you fail, it's not the end of the world. Your friends will still respect you for going for it. Your peers will probably still respect you. Your significant other will still love you. Your kids will still love you. Your clients probably even want to do more with you because you're a risk taker. You're a go-getter. You're not afraid of failing. Very about that. These top that good. It doesn't mean they're necessarily wealthy, but they were able to have a budget. So like if I was coaching each and every one of you, I would ask you, do you have a budget? Do you know where your money's going? Is as much coming in as going out? You have a plan with it. And it doesn't mean be cheap, and it doesn't mean to spend foolishly. It just means, do you have a plan? Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So they creatively and innovatively are willing to go outside of the norm and take a chance. Think outside the 9 dots. What makes you different? I actually call it USP, unique selling proposition. They bounce back fast from failure and mistakes. Remember, I talked about that on the prior trainings. BBF, bounce back fast. They have incredible self-talk, which helps them to BBF, bounce back fast. And they have control of their time rather than time controlling them. On some of our future trainings we're going to be doing every month, we're going to do time management. And maybe I'm probably going to do that next month, I think, because I think everybody could use it. And everybody always wishes they had more time, or they wish they were able to use their time more efficiently. And so what I mean by that is there's 4 things we can control. And write this down. You can control your attitude. You can control your self-talk, which comes from attitude comes from the good self-talk. You can control your calendar of what you put on your calendar, and you can control your schedule. So if you put on your calendar, then you do it, then you control your schedule. Nothing else you can control. People try to control people, and you cannot control people. You can influence people. And let me tell you, this is a big thing to take away from today. You can influence people by doing those 4 things that you can control well. Again, you can control your attitude, you can control your self-talk, you can control your schedule and your calendar. That's it. So they have an incredibly strong vision of where they want to be by when. So all often when I'm coaching somebody and speaking with somebody, what by when will be a comment that I'll make. What by when? Because if you don't have a deadline to it, it's easy to procrastinate, and procrastination isn't very attractive. They're extremely confident, and they take accountability for their actions. And again, it comes from being prepared. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to come off, manage participants. I'm going to unmute all. And I want to give anybody an opportunity that wants to. Hey, Gary, I got a question for you about one of those, or I want to make a comment. And I do welcome you guys. I want you to start being known in this class. When I've done these masterminds before, hey, Brian always talks in those calls. Lori always said something. You know, Doug made that comment. I want us to start to be recognized because it's going to help you when we make our list so we can partner with people. Oh, yeah, I know that guy. He talks on the calls. So if anybody wants to make a comment, ask a question, the floor is now open. If you don't want to, I'm going to move on to qualification. Does anybody want to say anything? And it's okay if you don't. Okay, then. I am going to move on to our main training for today. And the main training for today is huge. Let me say that again. The main training for today is absolutely huge. And if you can figure this out, you can really do anything. And that is what we call qualification. And why qualification is so important is there's very little taught on it in the world of salesmanship. You can't go down to Barnes and Noble and buy a book, or it's very hard to, on qualification. It is, you might find one book on it, on questioning, and maybe it's in a chapter. But the thing is, if you don't properly qualify people and ask the right questions to find out where they're at, you're not setting yourself up to close the deal at the end. And the end could be a 3-minute sale. I know you guys are on from Grease Monkey. Hello, good to see you guys. And that's, that's a very quick as to needing to ask enough questions to find out what the person really needs, and they have the right aura, mentality about them to want to purchase from you. So if you guys can master the qualification, I'm telling you, you're so attractive to the buying community. You're putting yourself in such a better position over people that cannot qualify. So if you're following along with the handouts that we gave you, and you are with us, follow along here. And what is the qualifying process? We actually call it the introduction at Southwestern Consulting. And the introduction it starts with prospecting first and pre-approach to find out who you're going to call on, and pre-approach what you can find out about the person. If they're coming into your store, like a retail place, like a Grease Monkey, for example, they're coming into you, there's not really prospecting for that person, but let me tell you, there's a lot of prospecting out in the community to get people to come into the place in the first place. Then once they're coming in, it's what's called approach. And it's approach that you're making a first impression with them so that they go, oh, I kind of like this person. It only takes 3 to 7 seconds, by the way. Good note to write down, 3 to 7 seconds to make a first impression. And you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Really important that you know that. But after you have made that first impression, this critical part is what we call the introduction and qualifying. And this is what we're going to talk about today. And we want to master it. It's absolutely important. After you've qualified, then you've earned the right to present. But and they haven't taken the time to qualify, introduce first before you qualify. Then there's closing, which is all the way through. And you have a better chance of closing if you qualify properly. There's overcoming objections each step of the way. And then there's getting referrals with happy customers, and it starts all over again. So understanding that there's a sales cycle is absolutely huge. So the needs analysis, investigation, fact-finding, discovery, conversation, questioning, or qualifying is all kind of the same thing. And there are a lot of different terms used to describe the part of the sales process. The introduction is the part of the sales cycle where you ask questions to find a need. So there's the different parts of the cycle, like I said, and we're on the introduction and qualifying. So the qualifying process introduction is least understood, least talked about part of the sales process, but it's the most important part of the sales process. It's absolutely the most important part of the sales process. There's no amount of closing or objection answering that's going to make someone buy if you haven't found their need and you haven't embellished on their need and gotten deep into their need. And the more you can fill their need, the more they're going to want what you have. So if you're filling out the paperwork, we're on page 3. And the first step of the qualifying process is building rapport, which you've all heard that before. It's about developing a mutual trust and an emotional affinity with the person. And there's 3 main tips that we actually do as we're doing this. And the first is prepare your prospect for what will take place in the meeting. And as you can see in your handout there, it's kind of let them know where you stand, let them know a little bit about your company, a little bit about you, a little bit about the product. Third-party selling is absolutely huge. If you haven't heard that term before, sharing some ideas of some other people that have done business with you because it creates a trust. And you can do a lot of the preparing prior by email marketing and letting people know a little bit about your company and services and advertising. So there's already some of that knowledge there. You also, if you're doing an appointment where you're selling insurance or you're selling some of the promotional items and products and services, you can send out emails prior to your meetings of testimonials and building some trust and affinity ahead of time and let people know what you do so they like you more. Next is have a comfortable discussion before the meeting actually begins. So talk about things like business with, and when they feel like they relate to you, it's huge. So you can talk about their families, their successes, the weather. I always the big question that you can do to kind of come together is, are you originally from this area? Because no matter how they answer that question, are you originally from this area? If they say, oh, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. Oh, you know what? My family, my stepfather family is from there, and I know they're big Cornhusker fans. Go Big Red, and they have the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. And you know, I've been there a few times. Or let's say they say, I'm from Omaha and I've never been there. Oh my God, I've heard they have the World Series there. You know, College World Series. What's it like in Omaha? So no matter how they answer where they're from, you can have a conversation with them. That works really good. And then third, it's huge. This morning I was a guest speaker. If any of you guys are on the call today from Family Heritage, with their Wednesday morning call, and Brian, one of their lead producers, talked really well about what we call the creative mind atmosphere. And creative mind atmosphere is create a no pressure environment. And within the first 5 minutes of a sales meeting, make your prospect feel at ease. Present yourself in a way that relaxes your prospect and void of pressure. And they're never really going to be ready to do business with you until they know it's okay. Okay. So you build the right rapport with the wrong people, work hard at this part of the sales process, showcase your professionalism by putting your prospect at ease and finding common ground. That is a big deal, is to find common ground and get to know them a little bit. So if you're sincerely interested in helping your prospect, okay, and if yes, they'll develop an affinity for you. So we have what we call a concept called them. And a prospect can tell if you're sincerely interested in helping them, and they'll develop a respect for you if you can use these 4 areas, what we call the them. And I like to use acronyms a lot because you can remember it. I'm just thinking, so many of you guys in the class here from all different industries, you're not going to be able to have all this paperwork that you're going to be accumulating. By the way, all the stuff we send you each class, put it in a binder and kind of keep it all in one place. And then I've always told you guys 15 minutes a day practicing technique, 15 minutes a day practicing motivation. So each time we do these trainings, keep it all in one place in your notes. And after a few months, guys, are going to start to become part of you, which is really important. So like I said, I use acronyms a lot, and this acronym of them is huge. So first of all, use 3-dimensional names. And one of the best ways to find something in common with someone is talk about someone you know in common. And you can create an immediate feeling of connectedness to you and your product by talking about your customers and clients who they know. So the most powerful question, I'm going to say this really slow now in case you don't have this in front of you. The most powerful question you can ask is, how do you know Joe? How do you know Mike? How do you know Lori? And follow it up with saying, I know him because now all of a sudden you're kind of just using their name a little bit more 3-dimensional, and that you both know them and you can kind of tell stories around them and laugh about it. Oh yeah, I know, he's really funny. And when you can build 3-dimensional names, it's helping you build kind of a mutual affinity between you and them, and trust. And remember, qualifying is all about trust. But then you can present and they like you and trust you, so your odds of closing the deal go way up. Next is have confidence. And next to confidence, write the word preparation again. That means you're practicing, drilling, and rehearsing. PDR, 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 practice, drill, rehearse, practice, drill, rehearse, practice, drill, rehearse. You're practicing, drilling, and rehearsing more than anybody in the office. You know, like your managers go, man, you've been practicing that stuff a lot. Like, man, you're getting that stuff down. It's funny. One of the people for the 49ers that I was training the other day offered, just like I offer you guys. I said, call me after class. Reach out to me after class. If there's something I can do extra, let me know. And some people are just kind of shy. They don't want to reach out. They think they're bothering me. No, I want to help each and every one of you. I want to help 100,000. I want to help 100 million people. If you guys remember what I said, my goal is, my elevator speech is, I want to inspire 100 million people to live better, happier, healthier lives, one person, one company at a time. And word's getting out there. I'm averaging 3 to 4 calls a week that people are calling me and saying, I know a company you should talk to. Hey, I got somebody I want you to meet. And I'm available to you guys. But one of the people, okay, about having confidence and about kind of pushing himself from the 49ers, we did the training last week, and they set some goals. And I said, I'll be anybody's accountability partner here if you want me to be. And one of the guys sent me his goals, and then we had a little conversation on Friday afternoon, and they were, in my opinion, much lower than he's capable of. And so I sent him back to the drawing board. I said, what would it look like if you just went for it? You had full confidence, you stretched yourself, and you just went for it. And I got an email back with the goals readjusted. I didn't force him. I'm not his boss. Monday morning. How much confidence do you have in where you're going and what you're doing? How much are you pushing yourself? How much more can you get out of yourself in a good way? So a lot of it comes with your preparation and how prepared you are. The next one is eliminate distractions. If you're meeting in an office, try to meet in a separate room with a door so people can't, noise, and turn the cell phones off, and don't have a clock behind you where they can keep looking at the clock. But what distractions do you need to eliminate? And the last one is marry your prospect. And you'll see in the handout on page 5, marrying means so many things. People like people that are like them. So it can mean how you handshake. People say to me, well, Gary, how are you supposed to handshake? And I say literally, and write this down, guys, shake like they shake. Shake like they shake. So it's weird if you wait like a half second when they shake your hand. And so if they shake soft, like shake soft with them. If they shake hard with them. And I know it's kind of weird. Some of you guys are going, oh, I hate when people do that soft handshake. But however, if they are soft handshakers and you shake too hard, what are they going to think about you? Overbearing, strong. I don't like this person. And you don't want to make a mistake in the way you handshake. So shake like they shake. Their gestures, if they're big with their gestures, you be big with your gestures. If their breathing's heavy, I'm not saying breathe heavy, but be sensitive to it. Their voice, are they raising their voice? Are they slowing down? Are they varying their voice, which I talked about on the last training? You vary your voice quality. So think about, this is how you're going to get them to like you. Remember, people buy from people they like because you're doing them. EHEM. You're using 3-dimensional names. You have confidence because you're prepared. You know your scripts, you know your closes, you know your objections. You're eliminating possible distractions of putting your cell phone down and turn my cell phone to off. You're eliminating things that could be distractions. You're thinking through that stuff, and you're marrying them. Back to that creative buying atmosphere. It's so important. What it means to create a buying atmosphere is you've taken the pressure off of your prospect, and they feel very comfortable with you. And they want to do business with you. Someone will never feel comfortable enough to say yes until they feel comfortable enough to say no. Now, there are times to nudge. I would say probably of the people in this class so far, there's 5 or 6 of you that I had to nudge a little bit. And it is okay at times to nudge people to do things they need if you know more than they know about what they need. But most of the time, let people know it's okay to say no. I'm going to go ahead and show you what we do, and if you like it, great. We'll go ahead and set something up to work together, and if you don't, that's okay. No worries. I got a lot of people I can talk to, and it's not a fit for everybody, which means we see some families, we see some people that they take a look at it, and it's just not going to work for them. The only thing I ask is when we get to the end, and you won't hurt my feelings if you say no, is let me know one way or the other so that you and I aren't carrying this on. And we actually call it a suicide call when we call people back. Most times they very rarely do business with us if we have to call them back. I mean, there's been a few occasions, but let's face it, if you want to do this, it'll probably be something that you can decide today. And it's okay if you say no. And then it'll just be a surprise if you call me back and say you want to do it. But you might have noticed how I've kind of elaborated on it. I'm not just saying, it's okay to say yes, it's okay to say no, whatever you do. No, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to talk about when I get to the end, that let me know where you stand. I'm going to stay there for a moment and get them to nod their head and go, oh, yeah, okay, I'm with you on that. So we have a concept with qualification. And again, I want to remind you guys, you learning qualification is putting you in the top, no joke, No joke. Top 5 to 10% of salespeople in this world. Most people don't learn it. They don't understand it. And if you understand this concept, so powerful. The crossover point principle, someone will buy your product or service only when they realize a need that they perceive to be greater than the cost of the service. So you can kind of see there's the different parts to it. So the first is find a need. Understand their current situation. That is what we call the fact-finding step. Fact-finding step. And then you're going to identify their potential problems. So people do not buy from salespeople because they understand their products, but because they felt the salesperson understood their problem. You can write on the side, guys. This is huge, 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 huge. Write it on the side. Write this on the side. Huge. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Huge. Huge, huge, huge. So ask yourself later today and tomorrow, do they feel like you care about them, that you know their needs, you know what they want, or they look at you as kind of more a salesperson trying to make another sale, another notch in your belt? People do not buy from salespeople because they understand the products, but because they felt the salesperson understood their problems. So to get people to open up about their problems, get them talking about what's going well. Underline that. Well. What's going well. Or what they like about their current service or current provider first. It's interesting. If you talk about what they like, it's almost inevitable they'll also tell you some things, well, there's not that much I like. Or there's some things I don't like too. And if you cannot identify the problems that you can develop a need, this person might not be a good prospect for you, which is okay. You know, I always tell people to put their self-esteem, write that down, write this down, guys. Put your self-esteem into your work habits, not your results. Like if I'm a manager, which I am, of projects and people in our company, I'm going to tell anybody I'm working with that I don't care about your results. I mean, of course I do ultimately, but what I care about is your activity. Is your activity right? Are you making enough calls every day? Are you making enough contacts? You're asking for referrals. Are you starting early and finishing, late? And are you putting the hours in? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Because if the activity is right, I can teach the technique. And then more often than not, if the activity is right, you'll get the results. You really will. These are the questions that explore the effects of the problem and develop the seriousness of the problem to increase your prospect's motivation to change. The ultimate goal is to increase your prospect's perception of the value of your solutions. So then the next one, number 4, is elevate the problem to the level of pain. So people buy when the pain of the problem is greater than the cost of the solution. Circle that. That is huge. People buy when the pain of the problem is greater than the cost of the solution. So real quick, just think about your product or service that you sell and think about it for a moment. Have you created an atmosphere where the pain of the problem they currently have right now, or could have if they don't do anything about it, is the bigger pain than the cost of the solution? Very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. Elevate the problem to the level of pain. So you do things like, man, how would that feel? Wow. And they tell you, man, you have no idea what's going on in our company or with what I need this, or, the cost of that other company. And instead of, oh, okay, man, that's scary. Woo, geez. We call this pouring salt in it. I'm going to share this with you in a moment, a little technique. But that's frustrating, huh? So you get to actually elevate. You get to put your acting shoes on, but do it with integrity, do it sincere. How would that feel? Man, that would be tough. Woo, geez. So number 4 is big. Elevate the level of pain. And then lastly, number 5 is to draw out their needs. So it took you from situation to problem to effect to elevate the level of pain all the way to the need, not just what's your need. And most average salespeople is not even that good at getting the need. Some people even skip over the need. They don't do all 5 steps. But I want you guys to say, no, I'm good at this. I'm going to do the crossover point principle. I'm going to dig deeper because I'm going to be a badass salesperson. And I'm going to do it with love and integrity. And I'm not going to do it in a pushy way, and it's going to look polished. And I'm going to be badass because I took the time to PDR, practice, drill, rehearse. And you're going to be rewarded for that, guys. You'll make more money. You'll be more effective. You'll be a leader, a trainer. People will respect you because remember, there's over 40 million salespeople in this country and 11 colleges where you can get a degree in sales. So anything you're learning from this course, you're putting yourself in a position of being better than the average person because you're having this knowledge now. So now the next thing is to cover the objection in advance. Cover the objections in advance. We got their need. Now we're covering their objections in advance. The best salespeople are not necessarily masters at answering objections. The best salespeople, they're masters of preventing objections by asking good questions. We know the objections they're going to get most often. They fall into 4 categories. And you're going to want to weave into your presentation the answers to the objections you know are going to come up. So that when they actually bring up the objection, they look like a fool. And not that you want people to look like a fool, but you want to be so good that you've already weaved into this presentation the answers that the objections are going to bring up. So if you can eliminate those objections, you're going to go into a presentation with them almost already saying yes already. How do we do this? These are the 4 main objections people get. Price, too expensive, or it's more than I thought. Provider, in other words, I work with somebody else, so I'm going to work with you guys, or who am I going to give the business to? Procrastination, I want to think about it, okay? And they want to put it off. They haven't seen the value yet, they're not ready. And purchaser is decision maker. They're not the person. My wife makes that decision. Oh, the board of directors does that. My boss decides that. All those, bluff excuses that people quite often give because you haven't gotten them over the hump. And I'm telling you, in this class, guys, no joke, we're gonna hit on objections hard. We're gonna be good at qualifying. We're gonna be good at our presentation skills, trial closing all the way. You guys are gonna be amazing with your closing skills, your closing percentage. I of course I want you guys to work more hours if you're not working enough hours. Of course I want you to work more efficiently. I don't necessarily want you to work more hours if you're already working a lot, but I want you to be more efficient in the hours that you're working. And that's huge if you can overcome these 4 objections. Now, the note I want you to make here is most people don't overcome objections till after they close. And the best closers in the world are great at qualifying. So they already weave into the presentation the answers to the objections they know they're going to get early on so you don't get the objection. That is powerful. So on page 10, the 4 Ps, you prevent the price objection in advance by building a strong enough need that the alternative is more expensive than your product. You can prevent the provider objection by creating a great enough need for your product or service that the pain of staying with your current provider outweighs the pain of switching over. You can prevent the procrastination objection by creating enough of a need that they feel compelled to move forward. And even when it comes to the purchaser objection, if you found a need sufficient enough, one party will often move forward without the other, or the prospect you've been working with will get any of the other decision makers that need to be part of the process involvement, where in the past they still want to talk to them and they'll go grab that person if you're good enough and you weave this into your presentation. So here's some examples. Price, as long as it fits the budget, would you say that blank would be important, something you need to have? Provider, would you say that continuing to do blank would cost you blank? Remember that's the creating enough pain that the cost is more powerful to not do business with you than it is to do business with you. The procrastination, at the end of my presentation, all I ask is you give me a yes or a no, whether or not you'd like to place an order. Can you do that for me? But it still comes back to finding a need. So you got to have their need. And then the purchaser, is there anyone else that needs to be here for this? I always say there's 2 ways you can do that one. Is there anybody else that writes this down that needs to be involved in the decision-making process? Is there anyone else that needs to be involved in the decision-making process? And then the other one is besides yourself, who else would be involved in the decision-making process? Besides yourself, who else would be involved in the decision-making process? So then we have what we call the critical question. As we're getting here to the end, and the critical question is absolutely huge. It's a question that's designed to determine if someone is a legitimate prospect for your product before you move in to the presentation. Again, depending on what you sell, this whole thing could take 5 minutes. And what I'm going to challenge you to do is, when we get done with our training today, to say, what are some things that Gary covered that are absolutely big things for me? And then you go circle them in your handout and say, what can I do right away? Because it takes 21 days to form a habit. And I actually shared with you that you should take your best notes of each of these trainings and go through all of the things in the 0.5%, and go through all the things that attract people to you. Then go through the main points that I brought up in qualifying. And take a separate sheet of paper and handwrite your notes on that summary of today's note of March 1st. You can stay in for a long, long time. I mean, we have content for a couple of years until you're ready that you feel like you can go do this without the support. But each month, if you just review your summary pages, you'll truly be becoming a powerful salesperson. You add this on top of the videos and whatnot, you'll be able to sell anything. And that is so valuable, guys. Salesmanship is not going away. So the critical question is a question that is designed to determine if someone's a legitimate prospect for your product before you move into the presentation. It's beautiful because you simply use the prospect's words and repeat back to them what they have said they need in the form of an if-then question. Circle that if-then question. All you are asking for is that if you can meet those needs with your product or service, then will they commit to moving forward. If-then is a big close. It's been around for years. So it looks something like this. If blah, 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 that they need, then would that be something you'd be interested in taking a look at or moving forward with, or going ahead and getting the PO started? Or would that be something that you'd want to move ahead with? You can kind of tweak the words based on your business. If you're offering them what they've already told you that they need, what would be their most likely answer to that question? Of course, it would be yes. So we have here in your handout, I'm not going to read all of these because we have people on this training from real estate, from mortgage, from insurance. We have them from lots of different industries here, but you can kind of read some of the examples I gave you in your handout. And you also, again, can call me, guys, and text me if you want to get specific. I can help you with scripting, wording. I'm here to support you. I'll assume if I don't hear from you, you got it handled. But I'm here to support you. And we do the review call. Janet will send you guys out the information on the review call very soon. And on the review call, we can ask questions. But you'll not win them over. The question, a clear question, but if you answer no, then they're not a prospect and you should move on. You will not win them over with a fantastic presentation. No amount of objection answering will be able to turn them around if you haven't been able to do these things. So this slide here, let's take a look at it for a moment. It's absolutely huge. If you've built rapport with your prospect to the point they trust you and like you, you've taken the pressure off and created a buying atmosphere, you've developed a need for your product or service, and if you've covered every objection that you could anticipate in advance, the answer yes to the critical question, pretty good that they're going to buy from you. So you should know in the back of your head, okay, gotta do the need, to take the pressure off, to develop some rapport with them. Have I weaved into the presentation the answers to the objections I know are going to come up? Did I ask the final question, the critical question? And did they answer yes? And if you can do that, you are a master qualifier, and you are very valuable to your company. So I want to share with you 2 techniques real quick, and then we'll do a little bit on goal setting, and then we'll wrap up. There's 2 techniques. One technique is what I call class. and I've shared this before, I'm going to share it again. It's something you can remember wherever you are. You're standing up, you're out selling, you're behind a table, you're at a conference, you're on the fly, you're on the phone. You don't have all the stuff in front of you. I get it. I understand that. Clasp is a technique. The clasp on the watch comes undone, then your watch falls off. The clasp on a bracelet comes undone, the bracelet or the necklace comes off. You must clasp your prospect. When you clasp your prospect and have most of these answers, it's okay then to move on to presentation. If you haven't been able to clasp them and know these things, you're setting yourself up to fail and get a no. So C stands for current situation. All sorts of prior questions. What have they done in the past? What have they used in the past? What are they currently using right now? How much did it cost? Who's the person they're working with? What's their thoughts on it? All of their current situation stuff. Next is like. What did you like about doing that? What have you liked about your current situation? What do you enjoy? And I don't keep using the word like. It sounds monotonous. So you could say like in several different ways. Like, what have you enjoyed about it? What's your best part? What do you like? And then A is alter. What would you change? What would you do differently? Now, I spend about 3 times as much on likes than I do on alter, because if you spend too much time on alter, you sound like you're a pushy salesperson. We don't want you to be pushy salespeople. But polished, comfortable. They have no idea that you're going through training to learn all this, but man, he's good. They walk away, they don't even know what you signed. He's good. If you do these 5 things. Then S is who's the signer. Remember, I gave you guys 2 ways to ask that. I assume you're the person that would be involved in making this decision, or who else besides yourself would be the person that would do this, and just be assumptive there. But you need to know that before you get into presentation, because if in fact they're not the person, you want to find out, hey, can we get them on the phone? Can I just do a quick little 2-minute meeting and then we can come back and visit this again? But you need to find out who the decision maker is. And then lastly, is paint a picture of what it's going to be like working with you. And so that's testimonials on the wall. It's sending emails out ahead of time. It's showing things on your iPad about happy customers and pictures. Are you taking the time to paint a picture of how wonderful it is to work with your company, telling stories about how great your company is, and that approach and the qualification stage before you're trying to present? Well, let me show you how this works. No, you need to do these 5 things first. Then you can present. Then you've earned the right to present. The last thing I'm going to share with you on qualification is what we call CPR. And CPR is kind of used through the whole presentation, from the first time you talk to them till you close the deal. So class is at the beginning before presentation, then the introduction stage. CPR is the whole time. And C means cutting open the wound. It means bringing up a topic that you know your prospect's having trouble with, or finding out why they're talking to you. Like, why are you in here today? What's up? What challenge are you having? What brought you out here? Why are you talking to me? It's beautiful weather today. What's up? And when you know they're pain, oh my God, remember you pour salt in it. Oh, ouch. Ooh, man, that must be tough. And the other way you can pour salt is by asking how they feel and getting involved in their emotions. How does it make you feel? When they tell you how they're feeling, they're buying from the emotional side, and that's the pour salt. Ask why and how questions. You say things like, how long have you been disappointed with what you have? How does it make you feel when your current situation isn't good? Or how does that impact your life, your business, your family? And the clincher becomes, why is it worth it to you to make a change? That's a big thing right there. Why is it worth it to you to make a change? Why are you deciding to make a move now? The point of this part of the process is that you want your audience, 1 or 1,000 people, to feel the pain of their current situation. So you have to make them feel the pain of their current situation and get them vividly in the mind to relive their current situation so that it's painful. And then you can do the R. So most weak salespeople, they get to the remedy in the presentation before they know the pain. And I hope you guys get off the call today going, you know what, I am going to get much better at knowing their why, what they want, and cutting open the wound, and knowing their pain and their worries and their fears. And then I do the R to remedy the pain. So that transition, I'll say like a trial close, it sounds something like, so if I could show you a way that you wouldn't have to deal with that anymore, would that be something you'd be excited about? Yeah. Great, let me show you what I got in mind. And now you're going into it like, woo, That is the way to sell, ladies and gentlemen. That is the way to sell. It's huge, and it's fun. The last thing I want to cover with you guys today is goal circles. Now, some of you have seen me speak before, seen my goal circles. I will probably do these with you guys every 2 months. And because it's absolutely huge. If you make a note on your paper that if you have a goal and it is in writing and it's reviewed at least every other day, you're 7 times more likely to hit your goal. So any of you guys that are on this call today and you got a goal, hi Diana, see you there, okay? And BHAG goal, by the way, stands for Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. And if you have a goal, if it's in writing and it's reviewed at least every other day, you're 7 times more likely to hit it than a person that doesn't have their goal in writing. So this is what we call a 60-day game plan. So today is March 1st. What a better way to set yourself up. So what do you want by May 1st? What am I going to do? I'm going to go on a 60-day blitz. 60-day blitz between now and May 1st. I'm going to rock it for the next 60 days. Got that, Greg? You ready to rock it, man? Right on. So what is that goal? What is that goal you're going to put in there that you want in the next 60 days more than anything else? I would say, what are you willing to give up to get what you want? What are you willing to give up to get what you want? So you write in there your goal, and then you write your why. Because if the why isn't strong enough, you'll give up on your goal. You thought you'll give up on your goal if the why isn't strong enough. But if the why is strong enough, oh my God. Call me. Like, Gary, I need some help. Like, I'm stuck. If the why isn't strong enough, you'll quit. And if the why is strong enough, you'll do anything it takes. What's your goal in the next 60 days? What you want. I want you to write on your paper that goals must be smart. Goals must be smart. Goals must be smart. SMART stands for, and I see Amanda on there. Hello, and Tyler. I see several of you guys. Awesome. A lot of people, I can't tell who you are because I just see your phone numbers. But SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable. So it's been done before. You really believe in your heart you could do it if you stretch. Reviewable by somebody other than yourself. And there's a timetable for it. And the timetable here is on May 1st. Now you got your goal, you got a why, it's smart, then you got to have a plan. If you fail to, so you write in what do you need more of, what do you need less of, what you start doing, what do you got to stop doing. And the more specific, the more terrific. If you just say, I want to do more dials, how many more dials? I want to do more demonstrations, how many more demos? I want to put more hours in, how many more? And you can send me over. Remember, I told you guys from the 49ers. He sent me over his goals. You guys can send me over your goals, and I'll take a look at it, and I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you. That's not, guys, it's not, okay, you'll get average results with that. Let's tighten it up. And I'll give you my honest feedback of what your goals are. And you'll work on them. And be specific with them. And that reviewable self is absolutely critical. Because when you are, you're more likely to hit your goal. So at the bottom there's those 3 things. Accountability partner. What 2 to 3 people are going to have hold you accountable? I'm willing to be one of them if you want me to. You'll see on the left-hand side it says the pain of discipline is easier than the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is easier than the pain of regret. So this, if you really want to stretch yourself, and you'll feel good, guys, I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've done a 60-day game plan. And you feel good when you hit your goal. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. And so you get your accountability partners. You have a penalty for failure and a reward for hitting it. Penalty has to be severe enough that it's painful. I had a real estate agent that was the PTA president of our elementary school. And the principal wasn't very nice. She actually didn't even like him because he was not very appreciative of the work that she and her team did. And so she gave me $10,000 in an envelope. No joke, because I couldn't. It wasn't like a check that she could stop payment on. And she said, if I don't hit my goal, you take this $10,000 cash and give it to the principal in my honor. She hated the principal, so she did everything she could do to not have to give that $10,000. Yeah. Heffernan Insurance out in California, Owen. And Owen, he had worked with, I was his business coach, and he had constant growth for about 2 years. He was coached for about 3 years. He was in our program, and little bit growth. He never went backwards. Little bit growth, steady Eddie. But he got married, and all of a sudden pressure went up a little bit that he wanted to buy a house. The why became a little stronger. So he did one of these goals right here. And he said, I want to earn this much in 2 months. And he said, I need to have a good penalty because I've always go outside the 9 dots. So he said, if I don't hit my goal, I'm going to switch places with my secretary. So they have 18 insurance brokers, and each one has an office, and each one has an executive assistant. And the executive assistant is in the cubicle right in front of them, and their offices are real nice. And he said, if I don't hit my goal, I'm switching for a whole year, and my executive assistant gets my office, and I take her cubicle. And it was the worst cubicle, guys. It was the worst one. It was near the bathroom. The door was always open and closed. It was near the kitchen. Like, he would never get work. Then he couldn't have meetings there. He'd always have to use the conference room, which was a pain. Owen hit his goal in 26 days of the 60 days. So I challenge you guys to have penalties and rewards. What are you going to treat yourself to? You know, one of my clients, Wells Fargo Financial, I coached him for a long time too, and he's going to take my family on a cruise, and a little cruise in Florida. And I said, go get a goal chart on your refrigerator and tell your family and tell the kids. And you already put the deposits down, and every day let your kids fill in the chart. So you say, we're going on this cruise. And they would take a limo and the whole thing, and it'd be wonderful. He hit his goal because the family was involved. It was for somebody deeper than him. So what do you want? What are you going to treat yourself to when you hit this goal? Something you've kind of been putting yourself off on. No, I'm going to go ahead and do it. You get a weekend getaway. You're going to get a new outfit, a new suit. Make it something good and make the penalty more severe, and you'll rock. So with that, I'm going to come off mute. And those of you that I do see, Doug and Christine and Diana. There you are, Doug. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to see you. So I want each person look through your notes, and I think we have, God, we're about 70, 80 people in the class now, but there's 15 on the call today. I think people are getting a little bit, I guess you're going to get the recording anyways. Those of you that are on have an opportunity, but just share with me the one main thing you picked up today. The one main thing. So I'll start with you, Doug. What was your main big point you pulled from today?
Well, I think it was just, I actually have a question if you don't mind.
Sure.
You were talking about overcoming objections, and a lot of mine calls are the first step is on the phone, because I can have customers in a wide geographic area, but it's a matter of credibility. They don't know anybody else who does the consulting that we do and logistics, because there's such special knowledge that you have to have. They've never heard of anything like us. And then when I mentioned that we only make money if we save them money, there's a credibility problem, because one lady, I stopped her and she said, no, we're okay. And I finally just said, well, tell me what it is about what I said that, basically you're not interested. And she said, and it was the credibility of the company. She had never heard of the company.
Okay. So first of all, when you say we only make money if you make money. You should never on initial conversation be talking about how any money works. Okay? If they ask you, of course, you can answer it, but you should not be in a situation. That almost sounds like desperation, not that you mean to be desperation. It almost sounds like you're pushing sales upon them. So you can get into that on a second conversation. That's actually a set appointment that they've given you approval to talk in more detail. Mm-hmm. Second thing is you need to weave into your presentation. I can help you with this. Call me between calls. Some credibility main points about your company. We've been in business for so long. We work with third party. Remember I said third party selling is really important. Okay. That's a big deal. Maybe telling a story. Okay. There's many ways to create some trust, Doug, at that point, because when you come across and say, we only make money if you make money, it's all about you. And remember what I said, it's about them. Right. About them. Okay. So I think you're on the right track, but you're getting that problem because you're talking about money and it sounds too much like you're pushing sales on them.
Yeah. The only reason I mentioned that is I think when people hear consultants, they hear cash registers. You know, they go, oh, I'm not a consultant. He's going to cost me a lot of money. I actually only say that to offset them. So I don't, because I feel like if you don't, and I could be wrong, but if you don't mention that, they're going to think, oh, you know, this guy's going to cost me a lot of money. But I'll definitely take that. Sorry.
Here's an example. Here's an example I'll do for all of you guys. Why don't you send me over? Go ahead and write a paragraph or two of kind of what you say. This is one of my coaches play for all of you guys between the sessions. Tell me what you say now, and I'll help you craft something that will create trust a little bit more and not cause that to happen. Okay? Email me. Again, my email, gmichaels, M-I-C-H-E-L-S, @southwesternconsulting.com. Okay, Jose.
Yes,
how
sir.
are you, brother?
Good, good. Can you hear me?
You and I are getting a chance to do a little bit of coaching, too. So tell me what you picked up today.
The CPR technique, I think, is what most resonated. You know,
okay.
Yeah, just really reiterating why they need to do what they need to do to get them to commit a little sooner rather than later.
Yeah, CPR is good. Yifa, anything that resonated with you?
Hi. I think the accountability and when I have my meetings is what I need to do and by when. I'm going to take that and run with it for the next week.
Yeah, by when is huge. Okay, Christine.
Hi. For me, again, I think I'm back with the CPR, reminding people being in the fitness industry, reminding them why they're choosing to use, why they would become a member of my gym.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
And Kaya rock.
Yeah,
okay. So they need to be members of your gym for sure.
Definitely.
Right?
Yep.
All right. Hey, Pablo, how are you, brother? What's going on with you?
Very good, man.
Tell me what your takeaway was today.
You know, for me, one of the important things that I'm going to start doing is sending some of my information up front. So, like you were saying right now, one, they can learn more about me. They can learn what is that we do, and two things can happen. One is that they're going to have better questions for me when I arrive, or they're going to say, no, we're not interested in the appointment. That is going to, like you told me the other day, is going to save both of us time, and you can really focus more on the people who really need your services.
Yep. Okay. Greg, what was your takeaway today?
I like that clasp technique.
Yeah, clasp is amazing. You can do it anywhere. And if you can get through class, then you can get into the presentation. Let's see, Tyler, what was your takeaway today?
The biggest thing for me was more on the attitude side of things. You know, to not let your self-esteem reflect your results, but to reflect on your work and the effort that you actually put in. That was the coolest thing for me, because I know a lot of times we get in our own heads. It's happened to me since I've just started this new career, and I get in my head constantly, and it's just learning to get out of my head and just know to go out there and reach my goals daily, and the results will be what the results will be.
Yeah. Put your self-esteem into your work habits, brother. Hey, welcome to the class. If you want to reach out to me, I'd be happy to help you some more, man.
Thank you.
Ashley, Ashley, first one on today. What's your takeaway? There, she's on. Okay. Did I forget anybody? Some people. There's Ashley. Are you still there, Ashley?
Yeah. Some of the things I circled. Eliminating distractions during meetings with customers. I tend to like get up and leave and try to go get something to show them. So I feel like maybe I can work on a way to eliminate some of those. Not sharing everything.
Yep. Yeah, people get out of focus real easy. Now I can't see the pictures of several of you. If anybody else wants to, the 704 area code, anybody else wants to say something before I get off that I didn't ask yet, now's your time. And 506 area code. All right. Let me remind you guys, you'll get a notice from Janet in the next day or two about when our review call is. You can always reach out to me. Text me, 408-888-4848. You can email me. Do Facebook friend me, again, so I can give you more content there. If you refer 5 people to the class, you will get the class for free. We are keeping a running total, or you'll be able to get the class to give to other people as a gift. And it's a nice gift to give somebody to help them grow their business. I love you guys. I really mean that. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. We will have thousands of people in this community. And my goal consistently with my company, Southwestern Consulting, and my team is to provide you value, provide you content, help you grow, and do it at an affordable cost. Need anything from me in the meantime, please feel free to reach out. I love testimonial letters. I love referrals, guys. I cannot be integrity to be on these calls with you. And if you know somebody that could use our services, like refer them to me. The same way as I get to know you more, I'd like to refer you business. And that's how we build this community. So thank you. Have a great day. And I will talk to you soon.